How many kids did you guys want to have?
We wanted to have 4. Yeah. And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
Oh, wow. I thought of that once. Just like whether it was meant to be or whether we'd get news like that.
I was like, oh goodness, that would be the ultimate blessing out of this catastrophe.
Erika Kirk's carefully constructed image as the grieving widow of conservative icon Charlie Kirk is collapsing. And it's not just critics coming for her this time, it's the authorities. A bombshell CPS report, triggered by her own family nanny, has now placed her under official scrutiny for alleged neglect of her young ones. And as the details emerge, one question is dominating the conversation. Was Erika ever in this for love? Or was Charlie Kirk just another stepping stone in a calculated climb for money, power, and influence?
Toast. But she didn't call for war. Erika did not call for war. In fact, she did the exact opposite, which is what was so stunning. It was unbelievable. The forgiveness that she granted, the strength that it took for her to call for that forgiveness, it's just unmatched, and it really made a difference. And I was being serious when I tweeted that I think it was the most consequential speech in American history.
We've seen this playbook before. The tearful interviews, the staged moments of vulnerability, the sudden rise to prominence after tragedy. But what we're witnessing now isn't just public backlash, it's a legal reckoning. Just days ago, sources close to the Kirk family confirmed that Child Protective Services had been contacted by Erika's nanny, someone with first-hand access to the home, the children, and Erika's daily behavior. This isn't some anonymous online rumor. This is a formal allegation, one that could have legal consequences. And it's happening at the exact moment Erika is stepping into the spotlight as the new CEO of Turning Point USA, the organization her late husband built. The timing? Suspicious. The implications? Devastating.
So now when I see young couples, I tell them, please, don't put it off. Especially if you're a young woman, don't put it off. You can always have a career. You can always, go back to work. You can never just go back to having children. And they grow so fast and so quickly, but I was praying, both of us were, we were really excited to just expand.
Here's a woman who, in emotional interviews, claimed she was praying to God she was pregnant when Charlie was taken from her. A heartbreaking moment that humanized her grief. Yet now, the same woman stands accused of prioritizing her ambition over her children's well-being. Fans who once sympathized with her are now digging up her past, and what they're finding isn't pretty. From her ties to a controversial Romanian orphanage accused of stealing young ones, to her rapid ascent in Trump world pageantry, the narrative isn't just about neglect anymore, it's about a pattern. And then there's the money. Charlie Kirk left behind a fortune, millions in assets, properties, and the Turning Point empire. Yet, instead of focusing on her family, Erika has been making moves that look an awful lot like a financial power grab. She's selling off homes, launching donation drives for an organization that doesn't need them, and positioning herself as the face of a movement she never built. Meanwhile, Charlie's parents, who allegedly never trusted her, are said to be pushing for the children to be removed from her care. Insiders claim they've been warning people for months that Erika's priorities were never about family. Now, with this CPS report, their suspicions are being taken seriously. But let's back up, because this story doesn't start with a nanny's call. It starts with a marriage that, according to those closest to Charlie, was never quite what it seemed. Charlie's father, Robert W. Kirk, was the architect behind Trump Towers. Erika, a former Miss Arizona USA, crowned in 2012, right in the middle of Donald Trump's reign over the Miss America pageant. Coincidence? Maybe. But then there's the way she described meeting Charlie for the first time, standing in a ticket line in Israel, recognizing him instantly, and whispering to her mother, "Nothing is by coincidence." That phrase alone sent shockwaves through their inner circle, because if nothing was by coincidence, then what was the real plan?
The first time I met Charlie was when I was driving him and his then girlfriend Erika to the airport after he had spoken at my father's church. The entire car ride, he was grilling me on Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, American history. At the end, he said, "Don't go to college, come work for me instead."
Fast forward to September 10th, 2025, the day Charlie Kirk was taken from this world in a tragedy that shook the conservative movement. Within days, Erika wasn't just mourning, she was maneuvering. She took over Turning Point, she aligned herself with J.D. Vance, and she made sure the cameras were rolling every step of the way. But here's where things get darker. Because while she was playing the part of the devoted widow on stage, embracing Vance at a Turning Point event in Mississippi, her hands in his hair, his arms around her waist, her own nanny was allegedly documenting a different story behind closed doors. One where the children were an afterthought. where Erika's focus was on fundraising, on selling properties, on securing her place in the power structure Charlie left behind. And let's talk about that embrace. The internet exploded when images surfaced of Erika and Vance's prolonged emotional hug at the University of Mississippi on October 29th. Some called it inappropriate, others called it telling. Because this wasn't just a moment of shared grief, it was a public display from two people with very clear ambitions. Vance, who's been positioning himself for a 2028 run, and Erika, who's been positioning herself as his natural ally. The optics were undeniable. And when you factor in Vance's recent comments about hoping his Hindu wife would one day see things as I do in terms of faith, the speculation only grows. Is this a political alliance, a personal one, or both?
So much in the last 2 years, and I finally feel free because they can't take anything from me because I own everything. And I understand his message so much more now than when it was all happening. And that's why you need to have people that are brave, because it inspires you to be brave. When the world is coming down on you, when the matrix is coming down on you for telling the truth, it commits you further to screaming it. And I really don't think.
But the real bombshell isn't the hug, it's the timing. Because while Erika was on that stage, her nanny was allegedly on the phone with authorities, detailing concerns about the children's care. And Charlie's parents? They've reportedly been trying to gain custody for months, convinced that Erika's priorities were never about motherhood. Now, with CPS involved, their fight just got a whole lot more serious. Because if these allegations stick, Erika doesn't just lose the kids. She loses the narrative. She loses the sympathy. She loses everything she's been building since the moment Charlie was gone. And that's where the financial trail gets even more suspicious. Because Erika isn't just selling off properties, she's asking for donations. Turning Point USA, an organization that was already flush with cash, suddenly has a Support the Mission fundraiser on its website. And who's the face of that campaign? Erika, the same woman who, in interviews, has talked about how finances will break a marriage quicker than anything else. The same woman who, just months ago, was selling a $4 million home in Scottsdale, only to downsize into something far less family-friendly. The question isn't just why she's selling, it's where the money's going. And more importantly, who's really benefiting from it. But here's where things take an even sharper turn. Because Erika's past isn't just about pageants and power moves. It's about an orphanage in Romania, a place where, according to testimony, families were allegedly paid off, and young ones were taken without proper documentation. Some were sent to the UK, others to Israel, others scattered across the globe. And Erika? She was right in the middle of it, calling them her little angels. Now, with her own children under scrutiny, that history isn't just a footnote, it's a red flag. Because if she was capable of being part of something like that, what else is she capable of? And then there's the matter of Charlie's final days. We know he predicted his own end, texting Candace Owens in 2018 that he might not see this whole thing through. We know he dreamed about it. We know he believed his work would make him a target. But what we're only now piecing together is how Erika fit into that prophecy. Because while Charlie was warning his friends about the dangers ahead, Erika was allegedly positioning herself for the aftermath. And when the unthinkable happened, she didn't just step into his shoes, she reshaped them to fit her own ambitions.
And I want to be very clear that I believe, in fact, I know, that towards the end, Charlie was fighting for custody of himself. I want to say that. I want to say that plainly, and there are lies that are being told and they need to be slapped down right now.
So where does this leave us? With a woman who's either the most misunderstood figure in conservative politics or the most calculated. With a family fighting to protect Charlie's legacy and his children. With a nanny's allegations that could unravel everything. And with one undeniable truth, Erika Kirk's story was never just about grief. It was about control. And now, for the first time, she might be losing it. But here's what we haven't talked about yet. Because while the world has been focused on the children, the hugs, and the donations, there's another layer to this. One that ties Erika not just to Charlie's past, but to his final, unfinished business. And it starts with a name we haven't mentioned yet. A name that changes everything. While Erika publicly mourns her husband, behind the scenes, she's been liquidating assets, including the $4 million Scottsdale dream home she and Charlie bought to raise their family. Sold it in under a year. No clear reason. Just months later, she's launching fundraisers for Turning Point USA, asking supporters for any amount they can afford, despite inheriting millions. Critics are asking, if the young ones were really her priority, why downsize their home? And why beg for donations when she's already sitting on Charlie's fortune? The math doesn't add up, and neither does the timing, because this isn't just about real estate. It's about a pattern of financial moves that look less like grief and more like strategy.
She really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. I felt my energy personally, like last night going into that, I was effectively like soaring in the air above the convention center, like a dragon above, waiting for Erika to just be like, fire. And I was just gonna come down and swoop in out of nowhere. All the politicians, all the fake people, everyone was just gonna be in that moment.
Then there's the political play. Erika recently announced that Turning Point is throwing its weight behind J.D. Vance for 2028, a decision she claims Charlie supported. But let's be real, J.D. Vance wasn't just Charlie's ally. He's now the vice president, a man with direct access to power. And Erika's been seen getting awfully cozy with him. Their viral embrace at a recent event didn't just raise eyebrows, it sparked divorce rumors. One New York Times contributor even joked, maybe not so jokingly, that Vance would marry Charlie Kirk's widow by the end of 2026. Coincidence? Or calculation? Because here's the thing, Erika didn't just inherit Charlie's organization, she inherited his political network. And if she's playing the long game, Vance isn't just a friend, he's a pawn. Or maybe, in this story, she's the one being moved.
Are you talking about Charlie's? So, I don't listen to Candace's show, but I am 100% convinced that Charlie was by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who him because he didn't like Charlie's messaging on the trans.
But this isn't the first time Erika's been accused of putting ambition over ethics. Back in Romania, her so-called humanitarian project, Romanian Angels, was exposed for allegedly paying families to give up their young ones, then shipping them off to other countries without proper documentation. Testimonies claim thousands were taken. If that's true, it's not just neglect, it's exploitation. And it begs the question, if she's capable of that, what else is she capable of? Because when you look at the way she's handled Charlie's legacy, selling homes, soliciting donations, aligning with political figures, it starts to feel less like mourning and more like monetization. And the people who knew Charlie best, they're the ones sounding the alarm. Charlie Kirk predicted his own end. He texted friends for years about dreams where he was wiped out for his beliefs. He even joked he might not see this whole thing through, comparing himself to Moses, a leader who wouldn't live to see the promised land. Yet in the aftermath, his widow isn't just grieving, she's repositioning, taking over his empire, aligning with political heavyweights, selling off their home, and now facing accusations that she's failing their children. Was this the future he feared? Or is Erika simply playing the only hand she's ever known? Because when you piece it all together, the orphanage scandal, the rapid financial moves, the political alliances, it starts to look less like tragedy and more like opportunity. And opportunity, in Erika's world, has always come with a cost. But here's where the story gets even darker.
Charlie was not silenced. His movement is only beginning. The voices of millions globally have been awakened, furthering his cause and mission far beyond anyone's comprehension. We won't cower in fear. We will never surrender. We are resolved to live free from lies and seek out what...
Because while Erika's been busy reshaping Charlie's legacy, there's one group of people who've been watching her every move: Charlie's parents. Sources say they never trusted her. They allegedly believed she married their son for access, not love. And now, with this CPS report, their warnings are being taken seriously. Insiders claim they've been pushing for the young ones to be removed from Erika's care for months. And let's not forget, Charlie's father, Robert W. Kirk, was the architect behind Trump Towers. That's not just a coincidence, that's a connection. One that raises questions about how deep Erika's ambitions really go. Because if she was willing to leverage Charlie's name for power, what's stopping her from leveraging his children? And then there's the matter of the fundraisers. Turning Point USA was already a financial powerhouse before Charlie's passing. So why the sudden push for public donations? Why the emotional pleas for support when Erika's already sitting on a fortune? Some insiders claim it's about more than money. It's about control. Because the more she can position herself as the sole guardian of Charlie's legacy, the harder it is for anyone to challenge her. And with J.D. Vance now in the picture, the stakes are higher than ever. Because if Vance makes a run for the White House in 2028, and if Turning Point is his biggest backer, then Erika isn't just a widow, she's a kingmaker. And kingmakers don't give up power without a fight.
Whenever the authority says something and not prod any further, we can't allow that to happen here. I won't allow that to happen here because this something terrible has traumatized the world, okay? And I feel as though when it comes to this, the media, the government, the talking heads, everyone is confusing us about what actually took place with Charlie.
But here's the thing about power. It always comes with enemies. And Erika's got plenty. From Charlie's parents to former Turning Point allies, there are people who've been waiting for her to slip up. And now, with the CPS report, the financial questions, and the political maneuvering, they've got ammunition. Because if the authorities start digging into her finances and her parenting, they might find more than just neglect. They might find a woman who's been playing a very dangerous game. And in a game like this, the house always wins. Unless, of course, the house is the one that's about to collapse. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The way Erika's been using Charlie's tragedy to elevate herself. Because while she's been giving emotional interviews about forgiveness and faith, she's also been making moves that look an awful lot like self-promotion. Take her recent appearance on Megyn Kelly's show, where she talked about praying she was pregnant when Charlie was taken from her. It was a heartbreaking moment, one that humanized her grief. But then, just weeks later, she's on stage with JD Vance, talking about how he reminds her of her late husband. The optics are undeniable, and the timing? Impeccable. Because in Erika's world, every tear seems to come with a calculation.
Sees things in a lot of people. In some way, beautifully saved me from a huge mistake of putting career over family and career over husband, because it's easy to do when, as a female, when you see bright lights, big city, but the Lord used him.
And that brings us to the final unanswered question. What did Charlie really know? Because if he predicted his own end, if he dreamed about it, if he warned his friends that he might not see this whole thing through, then what did he see in Erika? Was she part of the prophecy? Or was she the one thing he never saw coming? Because when you look at the way she's handled his legacy, selling homes, soliciting donations, aligning with political figures, it starts to feel less like love and more like leverage. And if that's true, then the biggest tragedy of all isn't Charlie's end. It's the fact that he might have known, deep down, exactly what was coming. One thing's clear. Erika Kirk's story isn't just about grief or motherhood anymore. It's about power, money, and the lengths some will go to keep climbing, no matter who gets left behind. But here's the thing about scandals like this. They rarely stay contained. And if the past is any indication, the next chapter could be even darker. Because when you dig into Erika's connections, Trump world pageants, elite architects, political kingmakers, you start to wonder, how many people knew exactly what she was capable of? And how many looked the other way? So here's what we want to know from you. Do you think Erika's moves are just smart business, or something far more sinister? Is she a grieving widow playing the only hand she's been dealt? Or is this all part of a plan that started long before Charlie was gone? Drop your theories in the comments, because this story is far from over. And remember, in a world where power is the ultimate currency, the truth is always the first casualty. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and we'll see you in the next one. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's this. The higher they climb, the harder they fall. And Erika Kirk? She's still climbing.